Hello. How we doing? Sorry about that. OBS just decided to crash out of nowhere. Let me know if the mic is too loud or if the music's too loud. I'm messing with it right now. Okay. Any guesses on this? Where this song is from? Before we get started, let me turn this shit off. Oh. Well, if you guessed Glover, the 64 game, then you're correct. What the heck? Uh-oh. What the heck? So the game doesn't want to open, so give me a sec. Oh no. What is happening today? How are those dishes going, Caleb? Oh no, some bot's trying to. What the heck? Yo, where my mods at? Okay, let's try this again. So, this game, for y'all who haven't heard of it before, assuming it ever starts up. Hello. It's trying to load up. I don't want to fuck with it because it keeps crashing. Anyway, it's from the creators of the Stanley Parable, so it's that kind of humor. Nice. Sheets going in the wash. Very good. I need to do laundry as well. Oh no. Rip. So after changing my mind on what game we're gonna stream today, I just realized, or apparently this game has a bug sometimes where it crashes upon startup, which is happening right now. So F. Let me try one more time. If not, then we'll have to move on to something else. I'm gonna look up something real quick. Oh no. How's everyone's Monday going? I had to make sure what day it was by checking my phone. I was considering streaming like game dev stuff today, but maybe another day. Okay, let me try this. Let's see if it works. Thank God for Steam and the launch options. If not, rip. Okay. This time for sure. Oh, it worked. Perfect. There you go. I don't know what was going on there. And it ended, or it worked just as the song ended, so perfect timing. Okay, after 10 minutes we finally got in. Okay, let's just get into this. Whoa. So it's a game about game development, basically. It'll explain the story right now. I know a little bit of it, but I don't know the majority of this game. But it's a pretty short game, so hopefully we can finish it today. It's more like an adventure narrative game.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reed. That game tells a pretty absurd story. Today, I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Let me know if you need me to erase the audio.
Made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, He then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator.
Happy
It's
Monday
like a
for
reminder
sure.
that this
That's
video
good.
game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Rip these boxes,
So,
textures.
it's 2008.
I've
Coda
never
starts
played
making these games,
Counter-Strike
and
before.
he never releases
I
any
think
of them.
maybe
He doesn't put them
once,
onto the internet. He just
but
makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this
relate.
image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly
Abandoning
renamed
all
his
his
computer's
games.
recycling bin to important games folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
Oh God.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay, well, that was a lot, but so it's a lot of talking from this narrator, so I'll try to not interrupt too much so y'all can hear what the hell's going on. But there are a lot of like spaces in between where you're just exploring the game. So, but it's pretty cool. The idea is cool. They're just little small projects, and over time you start seeing like the progress of this developer. I don't know if it's based on a real story or if it's just like some wacky story going on that they made, but we'll see. Anywho. Oh shit. Warning, Whisper Machine status. Whisper Machine.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Got a lot louder out of nowhere. Oh. Okay, we went the right way. There was two options. Is this supposed to be fire? Okay. We can shoot and jump, and that's about it. Move around. You can hardly hear the bullets. Oh, I ran out of bullets. Uh-oh. These doors seem fake. Oop. Except for this one, I guess.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Uh-oh.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Yep.
But ultimately,
Okay.
we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his
Okay.
games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin
Well, that explains why I can't reload. It's just not.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh. It just didn't program that. Makes sense, makes sense. We're just in a cube. The skybox. It's a really nice skybox though. It's a lot of stars and stuff. Random dots on the wall. I don't know what that means. But okay. What's the point of this little hallway? What? Okay. Oh no, is this a maze?
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to
Uh-oh. What happened? Hello? Did the audio just die? Okay, well, the narrator just like teleports you to the end. I know that part of the maze. But what happened? Why is this game giving me so much trouble today? Oh no, I can't click on it. See, maybe I should have played Little Nightmares instead. Uh-oh. Let me try restarting it, I guess. Well, shit. Just my luck in the second world and everything. I'm not sure how long this game is, but Escape from Whisper Game of the Year. Yes. Window. Here we go. Apply. Anything else we can turn off? Okay, let's lower the graphics. Maybe that'll help. Oh no, what's happening? This is the worst time to stream, apparently. Oops. Apply. Okay. Chapter select. Okay, let's do this one again. Hello, Brian. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Okay. Let's try this again.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This time I won't waste my bullets.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
I like that his name is Coda. Kind of sounds like Coder or something,
Security
you
call
know?
reached. Hostile alien life
Is this a
form
wall?
inbound.
Okay.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which
How was your
you'd
day
think would
today,
indicate that
Brian?
there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Okay.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Here's the skybox for all of you who missed it. Also, by the way, thanks to Expel Paradise for the follow. Thank you very much.
Apparently, this space station
Solve
has a
this maze.
labyrinth on it.
No.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Damn it. We could have solved it. What if I go back?
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Okay. They let me do it. Oh no. I'm just gonna go back before I get lost. Okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Whisper machine. Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Uh-oh. We have to sacrifice ourselves for the rest of the crew. Oh, okay.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and
Like
plays
how we're
it,
just,
something
like,
goes wrong.
laying
There's
on
a
the
bug
floor now.
somewhere, and this is what happens instead.
Okay. We're floating. There's the maze.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is
We're
an important
dead.
moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Hi, casual.
Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Damn. So now it says loading November 2008. I don't know if you guys can see that. I might be in the way of that. But yeah, that all these games are very weird. As far as I've seen a couple of them, but I don't know how this game ends. So y'all
So
let me
try
know.
walking backwards.
Past was behind her. Oh, you're eating pizza, Brian? Oh, good. Provecho. Enjoy yourself.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Interesting. There's like a crevice between the wall and the floor. Huh. Is it extra greasy? Just how Brian likes it? Oh no, hold on. This is very disorienting. Okay.
So it's a short and relatively
could not be
minimalist
seen.
experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
Why does the future keep
Code is
changing?
trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Oh, there's another hallway. When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Ah. But if the future is always behind her. Can we see through the stairs? There's nothing interesting on there. Whoa. Oh, I missed some text. How will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to
Huh.
say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
November 2008 again. Oh no, this one's spooky. So there's a force field. I can't walk on the grass. I can only walk in the path. You're now entering. Entering.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning
Okay.
of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Well, we entered something. I don't know what. December 2008.
Oftentimes,
Nonsense
Coda would
is
put
nearly
bizarre
every
titles like this
direction.
one at the start of his games.
Nonsense is what? Near every direction?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
No. The fuck are these voices? Can y'all make anything of that? What the hell are they whispering? I like how this game just lets you explore all these games. Like, even though there's nothing here, it's like, well, you know, you can go there if you want. You're not gonna find anything, but go ahead. And the controls are, so far, have just been move and jump. I can click buttons. In the previous game I could shoot, but I mean, it seems like I can't do anything else. Spooky, ominous sounds, and we're getting slow.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
What if we don't press enter? Oh no, I can't. What if I walk backwards? Is that faster? No. Should I press enter, or should I just keep on torturing myself with this slow speed? So far, it's told us that, like, it's not being tricky about stuff, but maybe it just wants us to trust it, you know? I'm just gonna. This is gonna take a while. I'm just gonna press enter. Fuck it. Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss out on anything. I don't think so though. This is like the scene from Bruce Almighty or something. Which scene? Oh no, hold on. Press U to surrender. A button you press to stop the chaos. That doesn't work. Oh shit.
A room that's warm and nice.
There's a camera
and filled with
filming
little
yeah,
ideas for games.
walking around on set, filming what you like. You're the queen, dusting your jewelry.
Coda would
Your
often tell
kingdom
me
is
that he didn't
destroyed.
mind if people thought of him as
You're a
cold or
gate.
distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. it can be a very slow climb to get there.
A key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate game. Normal game where you have to screen. Oh, January 2009. The following month. We didn't get to read all of them, but Ready Set Fish. But maybe that'll give us hints for future games. Ready Set Fish? Oh no. There's like a weird crevice here. Uneven flooring. It's bothering me. Okay. You know me, man. Plain old pepperoni. Nice. Puddles. What? With visible grease puddles on each and every one of the pepperonis. Damn. Where is it from, though? Oh, there's those crevices on the walls again, but this time they have lights.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay, puzzle time. This is very dark. There's like a little fog here. Just assume he's a liar, man. We're doing the torture route. Oh shit, I should... Fine, if there's any other torture stuff, I'll do that. I'm sorry. Refresh, Brian. We're already in another part of the game, so... I didn't see your message till too late. Anyway, there doesn't seem to be anything here, so... What if... Oh. It's another lever behind the door.
Solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
There are those dots again that we saw in that other... in the second game. Huh. There must be a reason why they're all connected, right? Somehow.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right,
Screaming
now I'm going
one?
to modify the
Yeah.
game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. Well, we can't do anything, so I'm gonna trust him on this one, Brian. Oh shit.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Huh. That was interesting. Oh no, we're here again. Man, you already know I'm basic hut, man. Alright, alright. I see you. Interesting. So we spawned like sideways on this path. I like this texture of these rocks. They look very realistic for no reason. So we spawned this way, didn't we? And I can't move to the left, like there's a force field here, and I can only go to the right. Just wanted to point that out, that we didn't spawn like looking the direction that we could walk in. And you are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Interesting. March 2009. So a couple months after. I mean, but that's like when he developed, or when he finished the game. The Great and Lovely Descent. So maybe they've been working like continuously since then. So maybe this game took a bit longer than
Let's talk about
the
video game
previous
development
games.
for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and
This
cannot
looks
do.
like
So in
Unreal
other words,
Engine
the engine is a
assets.
set of tools for game development.
oh, I can crouch. I don't know if I've been able to crouch this whole time. Or
To make
not.
all of these games, Coda is using an
Streetwise
engine called
Fall.
Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well
No, I'm stuck.
is boxy
Oh,
linear
no.
corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these
Oh,
large,
no.
flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Okay, I'm out. I thought I had to restart there.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the
fork and a
architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
A handicapped restroom. Okay. Is this a stall or a wall? I think it's just a stall. I mean, no, a wall. Okay. Specifically handicapped. Let's look around outside before we go through that other door. It's a staircase. So, this game makes me feel like I'm wasting my time for exploring. Like, it kind of just puts... Oh, look, another door. It kind of just pushes you through where you need to go. But by nature, I want to explore everything else. So, oh god, what's happening here? There's another door over there. Oh, that was for outside, right? Oh god. That's the door we saw from outside, but I don't think we can interact with it anyway, so let's keep going. Oh god. I think I can fall off of this. Doesn't seem to be a force field. Okay. Ah! F. No fall damage. Interesting. We're in the abyss here. Oh, there's like a force field on the staircase at least. So interesting. Oh, it's like glass. You can kind of see through it. I don't know if that's all the way up or not. Huh. What the fuck was that? That was a gate. Hold on. There's nothing interesting here. The fuck are these sounds? Spooky. Sounds like a radio or something. Is this a prison? There's like some beeps and like crackling. Oh shit. In the audio. Oh no. Oh no. We're trapped. Oh no, I can't escape. I can't go to the left or right. I guess we gotta go into the cell.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Oh no. It's not worth not exploring. The regret will always haunt. It's true. It's true. This feels like this could be an achievement if you just stay in here for an hour, but I'm not gonna do that. Not right now. Maybe later if I feel like torturing myself. Oh shit. Okay.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
That's interesting. Why is it dark over here? What do you think, Brian? You still think that this guy's lying to us? How about you, the rest of the chat? Any opinions on this so far? I think we have to go down. But that's interesting. I think you don't necessarily need to play a game for it to be a game. There's a lot of like artistic games. I guess that is a bit philosophical, you know. It's like, is it even considered a game if you're just watching it? Or I mean, I think as long as you can interact in some way, like moving around or clicking stuff, and you get some sort of feedback, I think it counts as, you know, that is enough for it to be a game. There are those dots again. What's that? Is that like a crow or something? Did you see it? That little piece of texture that's on top of that disappears when you get close. Interesting. I feel like a lot of the weird stuff that we're gonna see in this game are deliberate, so should be careful here. Or we should pay attention.
It's the puzzle again.
Oh, hey.
With the exact same solution as the last time.
I don't know, man. This guy's kind of... I don't know if I trust this narrator. He's giving us the answers.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
It's a lot of big empty rooms. And you can explore, but you don't find anything. It's just go ahead, explore. Interesting. I think I've always been able to crouch. I just didn't realize till a little later. Oh. Okay. Something's happening. What is that? Oh no.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Schrodinger's game. That's true. True. You there, did you come from above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. see. I'm gonna pick 2, I guess. The dots symbolize the Father, Son, and Holy Death. Perhaps. I'm gonna pick the prison. Oh no, okay. Prison. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did that. It was literally the last thing I did before coming here. I see it, my man. This guy's full of shit. Explore. I've been exploring, but I haven't found anything, so I'll keep exploring. Don't worry. I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't explore, so I'm in the same boat as you are. Anyway, no, I don't remember having to go through the puzzle. I'd prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. Yeah, we saw a puzzle. We saw that puzzle. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Use Game Shark. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, I don't like any of these options. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. I don't remember how to solve it. Well, they didn't really tell us how to solve it, so I'm not gonna pick that. I guess, should I go with 3? Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Because the other ones feel like lies. Like I'd be lying to them. I'm gonna pick 3. Oh no, but we do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Okay. Like that you can hear fire crackling. Is the other door locked? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Oh, back here. Hello. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes. Do you want to know how to solve it? No, I've been right here this entire time. No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. I don't recall a space between the doors. I didn't pay attention. I mean, I remember like the shadow, like fog that was in that room, but I didn't pay attention between the doors. I'm gonna put 2. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. Okay. The door locked behind us. And before we see it right now.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
It's like a very interesting atmosphere in all these games. Oh. Okay.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, You know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a
The
lot
building
more
we walked out
cohesive,
of. Is it this
a
one?
lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go,
Was this the
that
building we
idea will
walked
get
out of?
clearer
Yes, right?
And clearer and clearer.
It's like darker than the other buildings. I don't know if anyone else caught that. April 2009. So 1 month later. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. We spawned looking at this guy. At the window specifically. The only window. We haven't seen many windows in this game, so. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes
How
that
do you
you're
beat
going to
this
see
game?
have been written by Coda.
No point.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so
Whoa,
different from
holy
anything
shit.
that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was
Hello.
probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Reasonable.
I was over enthusiastic.
Everyone read this.
But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
Place makes me sad.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way,
Define
to
fun.
me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Balls. Okay.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually
Nice.
kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me.
Do not
That I
be
could just
afraid to care.
Play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked
Okay.
Coda's games so much, is because it
Saw a
felt
flying
like they let
penguin.
me have that connection.
Let me
I felt
tell
as
you,
though
it was the
he
most
was
majestic
inviting me
thing I've ever
personally
seen.
into his world,
Oh,
and then
no.
I feel less lonely too.
I never want to see again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. I am crying now and plan on ripping my eyes out. I must go now to do that. Holy shit. Alright, Brian, guess we're gonna have to read all of these. Cool cavern, bro. We're running out of space. Soon we will suffocate. There are too many messages in this area. Why? In a world full of notes, one man will read all of them this summer. You will believe blue speech bubbles can talk. Hey, I can type here. I'd rather be doing literally anything other than play this game. Guy over there wrote much wrong. Oh no, Brian, don't do this to me. Don't make me read all of them. This one was interesting. This game is no nice. I would like it when I could. What the shit is this cavern? Boring. I can assure you, you guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. That's a lot of bubbles. Speech bubbles. Hey guys, I'm just looking for someone to talk with. I refuse to believe. Butt ass butt. Have you all seen which one's your favorite so far? I need to go to the frickin' bathroom. Recognize me, please. You have been recognized. There's one lonely one over there. It's interesting. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt. Need other side door. Why are you so? Door how open? Open sesame. Makes game. Includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. That's interesting. I like how there's like more placed around certain areas. It's like, oh yeah, people would definitely be here and be complaining about something like that door. Someday I will meet the person who made this. So all of these were written by the developer then, Coda. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Oh no, there's a lot of bubbles, Brian. Damn it, new room. Do you hear the chimes? They keep you going, don't they? I would like very much to be desired. Welcome, congratulations. I don't really know where to go with this. There's hella bubbles, LMAO. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. A game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. Scared of writing something. Don't want to feel judged. I'm not very crowded here. Wait, what? It's not very crowded here. I'm confused as to what this game is about anymore. Hello? This is where I get off. I mean, gotta find that acorn now. God damn it, Brian. Failed to write anything here. I mean, not really. They wrote something. You did it, buddy. I am compelled. So all of these are written by the developer. So it's kind of interesting to see like their thoughts. Stop, turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. I mean, there's some that we can access, like those over there. So there's not that many actual ones. Take my hand. Let's jump together. Let's go. Like there must be secrets, right? Or is this what you see? Or is what you see what you get? That's the thing. We don't know. Oh my god, there's a lot. Cabbage shapes our nation. I agree. What is that painting? It does not matter if you ever get over there. Very good game. Hey, don't talk about me that way. I think I'm this is not going anywhere. I like there's just a bunch of typos. Next time I will do better. I need someone to talk to. I like this one. For real, if you don't find the acorn that the sailors are looking for, you're not a real gamer. But these are... This is a note? Question mark? Maybe? Don't listen to the other notes. See, they're all lying to me. All of them are saying random stuff. I'm not safe. As soon as I stepped in this crevice, there were some whispers. Did y'all hear that? Oh no. I don't... Okay. Would you all have read all of these, or am I torturing you by going through all of them? Because I need to go through all of them. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Ethical. That you can't fall off? Interesting. I saw a person walking down there. Now I won't come back. Don't make me wait. I will wait until someone walks through here. Devil Tower Star. What? Interesting. And this painting is kind of like this area, you know, like all the dots are supposed to represent someone. I left a note, right? These are all the players. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. I think all of these are like trying to explain who are all of you. There's some stop pretending you're the other people. We won. We will all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Cabbage shapes our nation. All of these are cabbages, obviously. From up here, it just looks like dots. Does it look like anything else from further? It just looks like dots to me. Well done, all of you. Whoever made this has issues. Painting, what does it mean? Hey guys, how's it going? Just hanging. Help, I'm trying to speak. I think it's about things look messy from up close, perfect from far away. Bold of you to assume that I can read. Art. Hey, don't worry about it. Stop faking it. Interesting. Devil Tower Star. Oh, another one. That's a Devil Tower Star. Wonder what that means. Maybe I'll feel real someday. He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret. He kept it well. I beat the game. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
I wish there were notes in the real world. Come on with the spiraling nonsense. Oh, there are those dots again. And there's a bunch of whispering.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this
Close
puzzle
your eyes.
that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
This whispering sounds pretty aggressive. Does this puzzle have a solution? Whispering stopped. Help. This doesn't make sense. Developer
And
answers.
because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause.
I don't see anything between the doors.
A few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
I think they meant like this in between the doors, like where it gets cloudy. Yeah, and like once you close the door, you don't think about what was behind it anymore, right? You just keep on going. There should have been a bunch. If this were... What the fuck is that noise? If there were... If it was actually connected to the internet, there would have been a bunch of fucking notes here like, haha, we did it. Fuck you guys. It's only one person that got out. How do you leave notes? It's like a typewriter. And there's good old lamppost. Oh, are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Loading May to June 2009. Oh, okay. So this one has like May to June, so maybe the other game's porn stars die too.
Okay,
oh,
this
no.
one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Oh boy. Can I pause this? Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna get something real quick. I'll be back. Y'all think of this game for a bit, like Caleb is doing right now. Game doing me a think. BRB. No, I didn't know you were watching. Hello, I'm back. And I've got food. So you're gonna... Oh god. You're gonna hear me eat. No. This ain't an ASMR stream, don't worry. Not yet, anyway. Got some Culvers. Shit, where's the logo? Some Culvers. Not sponsored. Culvers. Pretty good. I'm gonna be picking at it. Hope y'all don't mind. There's a random well in a cliff, looking like the Lion King over there. Oh shit, okay, secret door. Vibing with this music. What's this? Upper section. Okay. I like that he's reusing a bunch of assets. Oh look, the gap up there got bigger also. Oh no. We're in the well.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Oh, what furniture ought to go in the center of the room? How about a TV with surround sound, a refrigerator, put a giant hole in the ground. Yum Culvers. Yes. Let's put a refrigerator. That's not a refrigerator, but okay. Okay, now what about along the walls of the room? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. I really like a washing machine. Machine. 10 stoves lined up. Oof. We need 10 stoves, obviously. Nice. I think we should light up this room a bit. A skylit full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. I'm thinking some LEDs, ceiling lights, fluorescent trim, Tesla coils. Ooh, I like the Tesla coil idea. And a table. You need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this? Where exactly are you doing this from? Pretty sure none of my choices are making difference. Tables were invented in 1935. What? What happened in 1935? I don't believe it. Definitely weren't invented in 1935, but why that date specifically? One. Oh shit.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
It's amazing and labyrinth.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Is this Animal Crossing Happy Home designer? This was inspiration, obviously. This guide will enable to escape the prison environment. What? Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Okay. First, click this table. Oh, look, there are the dots again. Okay, go over to the photo frame and click it. Click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little bit. This one? Finally touch the shelves. Shelves. Is this a shelf? That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start and take to be taken back to your prison. Interesting. I can't go around. Return. I guess. Y'all remember the steps, cause I'm gonna forget.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
That's fine.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work.
The puzzle.
And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
always have to check behind me in case I miss something at the start. It's really dark. Kinda spooked. A little ominous. Oh no, we're in a maze. We're always in a maze. There's still a lamppost. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, hello. Hello? Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. Whoops. I like that I made a phone button press, phone dial button sound effect. You're me? So you were trapped in
It's
this
a
prison
conversation.
too?
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone,
Yep,
to
I
share
was in
what's
the
on his
future
mind,
furniture
and
maze.
to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
That's where I am right now. Oh, yep, I was in the furniture maze. That's where I'm at right now. Oh, I'm glad to know. I'm so glad to know that I get out eventually. What is it like to escape? Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. It's strange, but in a way, I kind of miss being in the prison. It feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It actually does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. Oh, good. So nice to hear. It makes me feel really happy. H kind of does that, you know? I'm still me, but I'm not somehow. It's hard to describe. Remember to enjoy being who you are right now. It won't last. I'll pick 2. I like that answer. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. Huh. I'm gonna press 1. And can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? I feel like the past us, like their replies kind of fit to any answer that we pick. So I feel like this dialogue tree continues regardless of what you press. It's a lot of weird sounds going on in the background. Sounds like they're talking Spanish at one point. To get out, all you have to do is to be sincere. To get out, you need to tell me how you feel right now. To get out, just talk with me for a bit. I don't know what I would answer for this question. Let's do 1. I'm getting good vibes from that one. What? That will free me? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. It will make sense. I'm gonna go with 1. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Damn. August 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Spooky. Like the chime. Oh no, someone spilled something. Oh. Clean. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. That I might be having to clean this entire house by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome
You'll
hands
notice
make
that the
lousy
quality of the art
homes.
is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
So my options are, don't worry about me, a place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. Or, and lousy homes make home loners. Or, are we cleaning this whole place? I'm gonna pick one. I like the music. Well, now you just might be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no? Why don't we start cleaning and then you decide whether you could do it all night? I'll finish up here in the meantime. Could you please clear the table? Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? I wonder what happens if we clean something that we're not told to clean yet. I don't think we can. It's a nice home. While you're in there, why don't you straighten up the rug a bit? All the little details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. I'm gonna pick 2. A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I've never felt so good doing something for money in my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. I might have gotten some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, speaking of demons, someone's put our couch all in a mess. Would you come out and straighten these pillows here? There's a lot of windows, and I'm kind of spooked by that. I don't like this. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Yeah, I don't think I would be able to live in a house like this with so many windows. It feels too invasive, or I'd be spooked if I see some weird shit outside when I don't want to. Anyway, make it especially cheesy. Yeah, I'll try to get by. Do you absolutely have to? Give me the cheese. Oh. No. Oh. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Do y'all trust this person? I'm kind of sketched out. It's like it feels satisfying cleaning, but at the same time I'm kind of spooked. Something's gonna happen at any moment. Okay. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? We have no reflection. We're ghosts. This is a really nice house though. Minus the windows. The Orchid Thief.
After the intense set of prison games,
Perfect. Now
this
then,
house
how about you
cleaning
come
level
and
almost feels
clear
like
these dishes
cleansing.
off the table?
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
House cleaning is so difficult. How do you do it? Are all the houses this easy to clean? Do these chores ever end? Let's go with 1. Darling, let me tell you something. Your house is only as difficult to clean as you are. If you're finding the work hard, maybe you have a bit of housekeeping to do before you come to work. Ha! And here I go with another lecture. Of course I
I
would.
know that Coda really liked this game.
Don't worry about all that nonsense.
Of all
for
of his
now.
work, actually,
Just
this was the
smooth
only
out
one that he
the
called
rug in the
me
bedroom.
up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Interesting. Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it. That's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty cheesy. But there's a bit of truth in it, no? Yeah, the soundtrack's great. And yeah, I trust them now. It's hard to to tell with these levels. I'm gonna say 3. Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Oh goodness, the pillows over the couch are ruinous.
I'm glad he found some peace.
Question.
But,
Do you enjoy
of course,
this?
it can't last.
Uh-oh.
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Spooky. Oh, there's the light.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? that sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009.
This
Items
one
you love
gets
and
a bit
member
goofy.
only prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. Oh, we changed spots. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly?
About
This is
halfway through
easy,
the
it's
game,
so
the
easy.
perspective shifts.
Being perfect is effortless. Holy shit. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort?
And you play as the teacher.
And the
And
way,
suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are.
huh.
Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh, there's someone over there. And there's the light again. On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Kids should not follow their dreams. It's the key. How do I achieve it when it's no effort? Whoops. Well, let me tell you right now. If it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you. It's just that you can make me feel cold on the inside. I'll click that one. Huh. So some of them are yellow, and some of them are darkened out. The options that we have, that is. Thank goodness all you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. I don't like any of these options. Let's go with that one. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. I can't reach that person that's over there listening, by the way. I'm trapped here. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? You. I'm developing a system. Oh no. Gross. Haha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? Holy shit. There is no truth. There is no path. What if I'm not a good teacher? Holy shit, you guys, something's coming out of the back of the room, look out. What is easiest? Do what is simplest. Do what is true. Huh. Nothing, no one. It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Everyone run.
I fell pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
January 2010. Oh, the black hole. Yeah. Oh.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
We're backstage. Holy shit, it scared me. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We're at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Alright. Simple enough. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's her dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello, sorry, I have to leave. Where's the bathroom? Let's start with hello. Hello. Hello, that's it. That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her to be a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. I like you. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. Huh. I'm gonna go with 1. No. That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's that you need a better feel for the setting. There was a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent people nearby. Now I'll talk to her again. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. Bet you've learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices that you have had to make? Let's go with 1. I like that they make noise when you bump into them. You're messing this all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this is for me? I missed something. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Oh. I like that effect. Oh boy. Oh god. Okay, yes. Now
the
this
game
is
ends
working.
with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. I guess I'll close my eyes. No. Fuck. Okay. Oh no, the light's up there. Why did I go blind? I can't see. Help, I'm blind. Can't see anything. What's going on? Let's see. Oh, the door. Help, I'm blind. I'm going to be killed by the giant door. Maybe we... Oh, please, someone, something. What's going on?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
It's a giant door. Maybe I should went black. Blind. Everyone's blind. What's going on? Okay. I think we have to find someone who's not blind. It says whisper. Help, I can't see anything. The truth. Let's stop this. My work is always fun. I can't keep making this. First thing we create, no, that isn't truthful. Huh. Okay, speedrun. Oh, I think I fucked up. Don't wait to speak to someone who's honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was
I
getting
don't feel
concerned. First off,
anymore.
he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
Can't figure
Here
out
was the
to
point
say
in my
thing.
relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Can't figure out how to say the thing. I haven't been honest. I'm stuck in it. I have to work harder. I'm alone. Three? Interesting.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. Oops. It's taking a bit to load. Oh. Okay. Hello. Where am I? What is this? Hello? Where did this island come from? How do I get out of here? Hello, is anyone there? Hello, is anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I'm completely out of ideas. When I try to create, I feel empty. I have nothing left to give to my work. Oh no. What's happening? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. I like these these islands. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. What? You have to take me to it. I need to see it to know why it stopped.
If the
I can
last
take you
game
to it,
featured
but there's a
Coda
problem.
talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I can take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult puzzle. If you can help me solve the puzzle, we'll find the machine. Deal? Deal. Deal. It doesn't matter what I say, does it? We're going to end up there one way or another, right? Deal. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little
It's the
bubble,
puzzle.
just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
First, you have to close the door. So let's open the door. First, you press the switch on the inside. The fog is white this time. Now you have to close the first door. You have to press the switch on the inside. Now you press the switch on this one. What if we had stayed in the first part and just solved it
You
without?
can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation.
Oh.
If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Dang it, there was a machine that kept me going. Okay. Ha, that was so simple. I can't believe I never saw this before. Okay, here we are. There's a machine here. What are you talking about? These are just words on some walls. Oh, these are the answers we picked. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time. Okay, making games is simple. Sure, making games is easy. Alright, making games is effortless. Damn. Oh, that feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Why did the walls crumble? Why did I feel so awful when I said that? I'm fucking crying in the background. Let's go with... Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. Last time I played this game, I got my ass kicked. Understandable. When I make this game, I feel completely energized. I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. It is easy and never stops being easy. Bunch of bullshit. When I make games for completers. Yeah, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
Yes, there was floating colored
I was
blocks.
watching him do this to himself, and I hated it.
I
I
get
hated
it. That's
seeing
some
him so
weird thing you
proud.
say to someone you.
It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Every time I make something, I feel better about myself. Just never stop creating, and you'll never feel bad. Such a simple solution. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to
None of
suddenly
this is
become
helping. I'm
angry
going
and
to vomit.
frustrated like this
Please,
was
where's the
worst
machine?
thing for me.
Same about the vomiting thing. Patience, you have to trust me. I promise this will work. Please continue. Pain breezes effortlessly off me. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time. It always pays off eventually. Yes. More. Keep going.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time.
There's no shame,
know
no
how else
fear,
to
no
explain
guilt.
I wanted it to stop.
I'll be
more than
saved by my
anything.
work. I believe this.
never felt so rotten.
Unquestioningly,
I
I
just-
am a vessel for
I
creativity.
needed
For
more than I had
certainty.
ever needed anything for this to stop.
Shit. We broke through, I guess. Incredible, that's it. I'm free, I'm free. There was someone in there.
But it didn't.
Oops.
After finishing this one,
This game got
Coda
grim.
takes another 7
Yeah.
months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. This got dark real quick. The machine. Oh no. Did we find it? Oh no, there's a guard. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I don't know why I gave him an accent. I intend to be quick. I intend to be quiet. I intend to be brutal. I intend... What? Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing. One more thing you should know about the machine. It's... What? Coda? Can I get the machine, man? Can I get the answers? Something, paper. What can you tell us? You stopped.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? How about this for a start? You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. No, nothing. Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. These freaking noises, man. Alright then, I will speak to them for you. Is that supposed to be like the machine groaning? No, no. Uh-oh. It's a press. Hello, press. My followers, my friends. It falls on me to deliver bad news. I have trouble. What? I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let's go with 1. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. Huh. I don't know. Which one's worse? I don't want to destroy the machine or its creations. Oh no, is this the stage again? Oh boy. We got a gun. Oh. Coda, I will make sure your work dies here. Coda, I will make sure you are known forever.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive.
Isn't
And I'll
that
tell
what
you, at the time that I first
scared
played
of?
this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself.
Exposed to the
I'm
view of
thinking that
others every day
Code
forever.
is stuck in his own head,
Seen in the
and that it's having a very
Polar.
negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Nope.
And
Whoops.
so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with
Splatoon.
other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Well. Damn. Oh, this is their game. Oh.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
The gun works. Yep. The machine. Put down your weapon. Uh-oh. I can't do anything. I think I have to shoot.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's.
Damn.
This
Got a
one is
new
called
game.
The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Damn. Okay, June 2011. Yeah, it feels like this is ending soon. I wasn't ready for this. The tower. Oh, it's a tower that they mentioned earlier in the Notes game. I forgot what they called it. Devil something tower? Devil Star Tower, I think.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh, okay.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to
Ouch.
despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
I'm just gonna use the bridge because fuck that. Also, that hurt my eyes, and sorry for flashing warning, I guess. A little too late.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
Oh shit.
Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is
I
here.
can't press the lever. I guess
I'll put the
unless
code
it's
on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
unless it's correct, I guess. I was close. I was close. Oh fuck! I fucked up. 1 7. Okay. Interesting. I like the sound effects that they use in this game.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
The dots.
And he wouldn't.
Damn it. We haven't seen him in a while. Oh.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your
I'm the
interest in
reason
my
that
games.
you stopped making games, aren't I?
To ask you
It's
not to
because of what
speak
I
to me
did.
anymore.
I poisoned it for you.
Damn. Davey, how could you?
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Yikes. Stop adding lampposts to them. What? The narrator lied to us.
Stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
I realize that this doesn't make sense to you. What? Just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work.
Oh,
Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please,
not the popcorn.
Start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
I just noticed. Rip. This took a turn I didn't expect. Hello. The epilogue. Okay, is this like some sort of station?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
The clocks have no time. They have no hands on them. I like trains. This like vibe of trains, very cozy. Yeah, the sad face.
Solution.
Oh no, Caleb.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Did they specify if this game was also made by Coda? Like the epilogue? No, right?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Okay, there you go. Where are we? Some sort of cave.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Hmm. Wait.
What now?
Kind of looks like the area with the notes. Is that like water or wind blowing?
I think I need to go.
No.
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Davey's gone. Now it's just us. Alone with our thoughts. Oh no. This got heavy. I was expecting this to be a lot sillier considering Stanley Parable, but I mean, I guess that's my fault for assuming it would be like that. I wonder how this ends. Those boulders have like a little crevice that's like square. Guess let's go in here. Floor's moving. Very slowly. Okay, I was wondering if it was just gonna stop or keep rising. Oh, we're back here. The station. The sound design is awesome in this game. It adds a lot to like the atmosphere, because all these environments are so empty. Oh, it's the machine thing. Are we gonna sacrifice ourselves to save everyone? Oh no. Silly stream. I know that was my bad. Me 2 hours later. Same. Oh no. Can I float up? We're floating up. Is that it? The maze. Holy shit. Hello, city. Dr. Langenskov. Tiger and the terribly cursed emerald. Thank you. I'll check those out for sure. Have you played this game before? It's very mesmerizing.
Turn back.
For R.
Turn back from this cave.
Cave. Very close to game. This project would not have been possible without the following individuals.
Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
Damn, that was a roller coaster.
You're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So
You can solve the maze.
back,
Do it real quick.
turn back.
But at what cost? What will you accomplish, Caleb? Oh, that was the whole credits. Damn. That was awesome. How many chapters was it? Damn. It's only like a 30-minute game, but it packs a lot more contents and more on the second run. Nice. I'll definitely check that out later. Maybe we can stream it as well. But definitely a lot more emotional than I expected it to be. I'm glad I played this on stream because I would have been fucking dead if I played this by myself. Been bawling my eyes out right now. That was cool. I like this a lot. Makes you, gives you a big old, doing you a big old think. Well, I'm glad you all joined here. Started to stream a little earlier today, but tomorrow I'll be streaming again. I'm gonna try to stream a couple, hopefully from today till Thursday, maybe Friday, we'll see. Yeah, I played the beginner's guide. It's weird how everything's meaning changes when you see the whole thing after knowing the narrator is a toxic POS. He's probably never had a real friendship with Kodo, just some annoying fanboy emails. Yeah. It's wild. I guess we were right to not trust him the whole time since the beginning. It's sketchy. Yeah, it feels weird that like he was going around changing the game. Like, I guess in general, for anything that's creative, it feels weird when you're like, when someone messes with it. So I guess that's a big point of this game, you know? Like, yeah, these games are weird or whatever, but they were made like that for a reason. So it's interesting. But yeah, the I'll be streaming again this week. Anyway, I recently got Eastward, which is no. Thanks for stopping by, Sadie. I'll see you. See you later. And what did y'all think of this game? I'm down to talk about this for a bit. But yeah, we're gonna I'll play Eastward later this week, and I've been looking forward to that game. I've followed the developer on Twitter for a while, so I've been really interested in the artwork, and it seems like a very interesting game. So we'll be doing that Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday I'll be playing Little Nightmares. So in case y'all want to join for either of those. And then maybe on Sunday we'll do a short game as well. So also thank y'all for the support. Hopefully we can get the new sub or the new emote soon. We're also close to the 3rd emote. So hopefully we can get that soon. And yeah, I put 2 p.m. for tomorrow. Hopefully I get there on time this time. Today I was a little late. And by a little I mean a couple hours, but you know. and then Wednesday, Thursday will be later in the night, so can probably get those in time. Anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully for something that's a little more cheerful. Actually, I have no idea what Eastward is. Like, I don't know if it's a happy story or not, but it looks pretty. So, look forward to that. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye, Caleb. Thank you for joining. CD, thank you again. Sad Boy, Lily, Red Wolf, sorry. Erad.